friends. How are you? How's things? How's life? How's your day going? My day, pretty great. It's Tuesday. Started back to work today. A little tough. A little tough. I got up at 3:30 with my daughter. We had a question from Jonathan. Our friend Jonathan has been around since the start of the show, before the show. Asked a question, and he said he didn't know if I'd mentioned my daughter's name, but he was curious if I had or whatever, if I would reveal it and tell you a story about, like, how did I come up with that name? Where did we get the name from? I don't know that I mentioned her full name anywhere, honestly, but her name is Violet, and we named her that because we liked it. That's it. That's the whole story. Like, seriously, when we started talking about kids years ago, I had come up with the idea that if we had a boy, I would name him Carson, because my name is Chevee, and he would be a car's son, and I thought that was funny. So we had that name picked out for a boy, but we never really picked out a girl's name. And we started compiling a list of just names that we liked. And very early on, we both, we were like going to baby name lists and that kind of thing. We had both said Violet, and we were like, I kind of like that one. That was like one of the early names we both hit on. So it went on the list. The list was not huge because Malia's family is massive. And Malia remembers everybody ever in her life. And so there's a lot of names she was like, nope, can't be that because of this, and can't be that because of this. And I was like, okay. And then obviously there's people in my life and names that I didn't want. And so it was more of a search of subtraction, finding names and then going, nope, that one doesn't, we already have a cousin named that or whatever. Violet, we almost skipped on because we do have a friend with a daughter named Violet, but that friend doesn't live around here, and we don't see Violet. We've only met Violet once, so we didn't think it was too awkward to name our daughter Violet. Other than that, it's just a pretty name that we don't hear very often. We were looking for kind of unique-ish names, but also kind of vintage, and we felt like Violet was kind of a vintage name that was also unique. It's not a super common name. I happen to love purple. Purple has always been my favorite color, so that's part of it, I guess. And it's just a pretty name. But names are a funny thing, because the interesting thing about this is Violet does not share my last name. My wife did not take my name when we got married. And for whatever reason, I didn't see an issue with that, but everybody over the age of 60 has a serious issue with that. Like, it's the biggest offense possible was that she didn't take my last name. And I don't understand that. I mean, I guess if we lived in a world where lineage was not instantly accessible through a Google search, it might be a little bit more awkward to not have the same last name as all of your family, but I could not care less. When Malia told me she didn't want to take my last name, I said, okay, I don't care. That means nothing to me. It means literally nothing to me. And she had good reasons. Her first reason was that she didn't like the name Dodd. She thought it was dumb. And that's fair. I mean, it's a weird name, but also she has literally the most common last name in human history. Okay. But the main reason was it's a pain in the butt to change your name. Like, in case you didn't know, getting married and changing your name is the same thing as legally changing your name. It's now an alias. Your old name is an alias, and you don't have to carry your marriage certificate with you forward for the rest of your life and prove that your name changed from this to that. Creditors, it's a whole process, and it's just honestly not worth it. It's a pain in the ass. For her, it means nothing to me, obviously. This is a patriarchy. It means nothing to me. But to her, it is a complete pain in the butt to go through all that process. And for the rest of your life, you're now tied to these two various names that, whatever. So she just decided, I'm not doing that. And I said, okay, I don't care. And then when it came down to having the kid, I will tell you, the middle name for our child, I don't want to give you her, I don't know, I'm weird about giving away my kids' full details. Her middle name also came from the list of first names. We never really did find a solid middle name. So we just went with our list of first names. And we had about maybe 10 or 15 names on that list. And we each just eliminated some that were no. And I think we came down to 2 first names that we thought would make good middle names. And then we picked her middle name. I just said the 2 over and over again. I would say Violet, whatever. And between the 2, the middle name that we picked starts with an H. That's important. I already told you that my wife's last name is the most common last name in human history, so you can probably figure that one out pretty quick. So her middle name was, we had also considered it for a first name. Like it was honestly between Violet and this other name as a first name, but my boss has a child with that middle name, or that first name, so we didn't want to go with that. But it worked really well as a middle name after Violet, because what I found was when I would say the 2 middle names, there was one where after you say Violet, you had to kind of reset your mouth and it was awkward. And when you're yelling at your kid, you're like, hey, first name, middle name. You don't want to have to like pause and you want it to roll off the tongue so you can yell at them properly. So we went with a middle name that starts with an H. And I already told you that my wife's last name is the most common name in human history, and it starts with an S. And so my daughter's initials are VHS. And while that's hilarious, and it is a joke I came up with long before we picked her name, like we had settled on the V, and we had talked about whether her last name was going to be the S or the D. I thought it would be hilarious if we had a middle name that was an H, whatever. We didn't pick the middle name for that reason, but we also didn't not. It's kind of funny that my kid's name is VHS, or my kid's initials are VHS. I think it's amusing, at least. But that's it. That's her name in a nutshell, without giving away all of her details, because it's not important for the internet to know all of her details. But it is a cute little story, and I think we're really happy with the name. Everybody we've talked to about it, we held on to that name, honestly, until she was born. Very few people knew her name before she was born. Because it's one of those things where I don't want to hear your opinion until like it's already written down. Like, you're going to get people say, oh, that's cute, or oh, like this person, or oh, like this person. I don't want to hear any of that. I did not want to hear any of that. Neither did my wife. We just wanted to say, this is our child's name. Welcome her to the world. I don't give it beyond. After that point, I don't care what you say. It means nothing. I've picked my daughter's name without your bias, without your weird associatives. Oh, well, you mean like this? No, I don't mean like that at all. I mean like Violet. We picked it. That's her name. So we held on to that name very closely until she was born. So, yeah. Thanks for the question, Jonathan. You guys got any more questions? Again, I do have topics. I have a couple of things I want to talk about this week. Video games, base stuff, sleep stuff, maybe. I don't know. This whole sleeping in shifts is weird and awkward and whatever, but it's temporary. It's all temporary. I think that's the important part to remember. Again, thank you for the question, Jonathan. If you have questions, let me know. If you have a topic you want to talk about, please put it in the comments. While you're down there, like the video. If you're new, please subscribe. We are still growing, and the views have gone up, and I'm shocked by that. After 9 years of doing this, I'm absolutely shocked, and I'm super appreciative. Thank you all for the comments, for reaching out, for saying hi, for, just being awesome people. I very much appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. I should have probably figured out where we were because here we go. 20 things to start doing in your relationships. Number 1, free yourself from negative people. Relationships should help you, not hurt you. Surround yourself with people who reflect the person you want to be. Choose friends with whom you are proud to know, people you admire, who love and respect you, people who make your day a little brighter simply by being in it. This is important. There are family members that you can't escape from, but you don't have to give them as much weight in your life. But non-family, yeah, you can totally leave them behind if they're dragging you down. And I highly suggest you do it.